Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. For those who don't know me, my name is James Weeks. I'm the author of best-selling book Meditations Across the King's River, African-inspired wisdom for life's journey. I help people with strategies for emotional wellness, spiritual wellness, financial wellness. I'm also a bookkeeper, and I'm also the personal finance coach for Black executive men community. And we're on a mission to help extend the dialogue on generational wealth and personal finance. So today I'm honored to have a distinguished gentleman with us, Mr. Justin Lacey, who has expertise in a wide variety of areas. Justin, thank you for taking the time to join us today. Justin, when I was just
Happy to be here, man.
yeah, sure. When I was just looking at your profile, there's so many things that you do, long list, certified financial planner, accredited wealth management advisor, certified private wealth advisor, so many things. But I'd like to begin back to, well, what got you into this space in the first place? What got you into accounting and finance? And what caused you to pivot from accounting into what you do now?
Yeah, James. So first of all, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. To your point, yeah, I have a number of letters and designations behind my name. That just means I spend like thousands of dollars on continuing education and renewal fees for all those designations. Doesn't mean anything else. But as with my background, so I'm born and raised Southern California. I went to University of Southern California, USC. Came in as a business and an accounting major, and I initially was an accountant. And I, started at Deloitte, got my CPA, envisioned being an accountant slash auditor for the rest of my life. And then I had some life events that kind of took me in a different direction. Both my parents are college educated and were, had us middle class. Me growing up, my dad, had a major stroke, wasn't able to work again after that stroke. And I saw their finances be completely derailed. And from them being financially comfortable one day to file for bankruptcy, a couple of years after his stroke. And I saw that experience and I recognized, hey, there's probably a lot of people out there that are doing well financially that may not have all their T's crossed and all their I's dotted with their financial planning. And are one life event away, whether it's a health event, a job event, a market event, a tax event, from being completely financially derailed. And they probably need someone that's going to really take a comprehensive look at their situation, really understand them and their blind spots, and really be able to advise them to make sure they're able to accomplish all the goals they have for their family and potentially create that generational wealth for their family that has eluded a lot of, especially folks in the Black community. That's what got me motivated to go into this space. And, I transitioned to space in 2013 and I haven't looked back since. I've been super, super blessed to be in this and be able to to do well in this world.
Sure. So question, so like after your father had that stroke, I mean, was it like, did it like hit you all of a sudden like, oh, I need to do something differently? Or did it just happen over time where you looked at your life and you said, you know what, I need to pivot? How could you like take us back to that period?
Yeah, I mean, I was an accountant, right? I was an auditor, so my impact was making sure that really big companies were properly reporting their accounting line items, the quarter before, right? That's not real impact, right? And when I saw the impact that that life event had on my parents, I recognized, hey, there's a profession out there where I could provide real, proactive future impact to folks, right? And wealth management and financial advisor, was an opportunity to do that. I've always had a slight interest in just finance in general and having a budget and saving and stuff like that. But I never thought about what a career could look like in helping people maximize their financial potential. So that event, that life event, really opened up my eyes to the career and the opportunity to be able to do so.
All right, beautiful. So let's talk about cash flow and retirement planning. When I reached out to you initially and we were brainstorming on potential topics, one of them that we settled on was cash flow and retirement. Could you walk us through that? Because I'm sure, as you know, not enough of us think about retirement and put much thought necessarily into retirement. and definitely not so much into cash flow. Could you walk us through that piece, especially the cash flow piece, and then tie it to retirement and maybe let folks know like, here's what we should be thinking, here's what we should be doing?
Yeah. So, first it comes down to, one, like understanding your goals. And I know this sounds really, really cookie cutter, but a lot of people like really don't understand like what their short-term and long-term goals are, right? I can't tell you the amount of times I've had someone tell me they want to invest, hundreds of thousands of dollars today and put that money to work and grow as fast as possible, and left out the point that they wanted to buy a house next year with that money, right? And the investment strategy for someone that is investing $200,000 for a year is a lot different than the investment strategy for someone that's investing $200,000 for the next 10 years, right? So the first step of, putting together like a plan, right, and understanding kind of how to maximize your cash flow and your retirement planning is understanding your goals. What's short term, what's long term, right? And to really spell that out. Then you got to figure out, then you got to put together your balance sheet, right? Assets are what you own, debt is what you owe, right? And really chronicle all those different assets you have, and look into your income and how much you're able to take in on an annual basis, on a monthly basis. And then from all that information, right, the goals you have, the assets and liabilities, the income that you're bringing in, working with an advisor likely, right, because it's really hard to do this yourself. You can be able to dictate, right, where it makes sense to be able to position the discretionary income you have. And discretionary income, right, is the income you have over and above your expenses each month, right? And where to position that, right? If you envision purchasing another, like myself personally, I'm going to buy another home next year, right? So I have a good amount of money that's in safe cash, well protected, not going up and down in value on a negative basis, but earning a return. And I'm positioning more of my discretionary income to that cash bucket to be able to pay for that house purchase, right? So that's kind of the framework of that kind of financial planning process. And I think it's so important to really work with a financial advisor to help drive that.
Well, two questions about that. So one is, as you look at where most people fall short, if you would have to say like identify like three main areas people fall short when they think about cash flow and retirement planning, what would those three areas be, that you would say just comes up over and over and over and over and over again in your line of work?
You know, I mean, the biggest thing is literally just not have like failure to planning, right? And never creating that framework to be able to follow, right? That's the biggest issue. Two, even if they do put together that plan where they really chronicle out their goals, their income, their asset liabilities, and figure out kind of how much they need to save, another error is not actually executing in it, right? It's one thing to tell yourself or be told by a financial advisor, you need to save $2,000 a month, right, and be able to invest it so it is able to grow over time. But it's another thing to actually put that $2,000 a month into an investment account, purchase the investment so it's actually able to work for you and grow, right? So the execution a lot of time is missed, even if you have a beautifully set financial plan created by you or a software or a financial advisor, whatever it is. A beautifully crafted financial plan is nothing or meaningless without execution. So taking that next step towards execution is really, really difficult. And that's why automating your savings is so important, right? That's why some people, when they retire at age 65, 70, and they look at their assets, they may have a house that they purchased a long time ago that they didn't sell because they're living in there. So it doesn't make sense to sell something that's providing you security, right, and housing. And the only asset they typically have is their 401k, because the 401k is the only vehicle where sun up, sun down, every 2 weeks they put money in it and it automatically was invested and grew for them, right? They don't have that discipline. A lot of us don't have that discipline to create separate investment accounts, retirement accounts, and non-retirement accounts to be able to set it and forget it and consistently put money to it every 2 weeks, every month, and allow it to grow. So that can also be a big part of our retirement nest egg and a part of our generational wealth, right? So creating more 401k type accounts in your portfolio, where you have more accounts that you are funding every single 2 weeks or every single month without fail, that are able to be invested in good things that are able to grow over time, is also a major lapse that we have to try to get a better handle for being able to incorporate and leverage going forward.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell us about, for those who don't know, other like financial vehicles that we should be looking at that are like you said, most people are just aware of the 401. What are some of the other vehicles that we should be looking at or considering?
Yeah, if you're looking at individual retirement accounts or short IRA, that's important. They have Roth IRAs, which are similar to IRAs, except for the money you get in, you do not get a tax deduction immediately, but it grows over time and everything comes out tax free, both the principal you put in as well as the growth. Those are great things you can be able to put money in. Also, you don't have to put money in a retirement account for you to invest it in growth. You can set up a just non-retirement brokerage account where you can be able to put in that money in there and purchase funds and stocks and so on and so forth that can be able to grow for you over time. So you start with you with whatever your employer is offering, like a 401k, a TSA, a TDA, 403b. Start with the employer plan. That's usually the best place to start. After that, you look at retirement accounts like IRAs, Roth IRAs, and then after that, you can look at non-retirement brokerage accounts. Kind of in that order is what I would look at. And people will, I know I'm talking to the Black community, right? Like we have a lot. There are very, very few wealth advisors in wealth management, right? Where we have the full sleeve of investment products and solutions to offer clients. Well, what we are more represented in as Black professionals in finance are in life insurance, right? And there are much more Black life insurance salesmen than there are Black wealth management advisors. Life insurance can also be a saving and investment strategy as well, but you got to be very, very careful with it because not all life insurance is appropriate for people. And some people that sell life insurance or some people that are sold life insurance could probably have been better off not investing in life insurance and just investing in like retirement accounts and individual investment accounts. So, life insurance is a potential solution, but I'd be very, very cautious with that and to make sure you do a lot of due diligence and talk to someone that is not a life insurance person that's also very aware of life insurance and other investment options to determine if that life insurance is a good thing for you to invest in as an investment vehicle.
So question here. So why is this? So you mentioned we're more people in the life insurance space, but not so much wealth management. Could you tell us why, and any insights as to how that developed over time as why this is the case?
Well, I mean, you think about the Black community, right? And you talk about generational wealth. The way that generational wealth has really been received in the Black community, for the most part, obviously there are outliers, is through inheriting real estate and getting death benefit life insurance payouts, right? That's been it, right? There haven't been that many times where, and I'm saying like this is all relative, but there's a lot more of those instances than a Black person passing away with a $2 million investment portfolio, right? That they're working with Merrill Lynch and now the recipient is now working with this new Merrill Lynch advisor, right? So I think given the fact that so much of wealth transfer has taken place in real estate and life insurance, that might have moved a little people towards those professions as opposed to wealth management. Also, the chance of failing in wealth management is much higher than those other professions, I'd say as well, right? Like it is very, 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 very difficult to build a career in wealth management. We are commission only. A lot of the folks are working with individuals that have, $500,000, $1 million of minimum assets that can come over, right? So us as Black people, not only do we may not have as big of personal network that have the $1 million plus to set up an account, but two, when we're trying to engage with people that do have the $1 million plus potential clients, right? A lot of times they don't look like us, right? And we need to break down the barrier and have these people that don't look like us trust us to be able to manage those assets. And it's a profession as well with management that we're commission only for the most part, right? So, you have to be able to get it and you got to eat what you kill. And a lot of times the success rate of young advisors, whether they're Black, green, Asian, purple, whatever it is super, super low. And a lot of times as Black folks don't have the ability to bet on ourselves like that. We have responsibilities. We have parents we got to take care of, kids to take care of, siblings to take care of. So we can't be in a situation where we make $20,000 for the first 2 years and just, grind it out and then eventually get enough clients to be able to have enough from a living wage income. We may not have that opportunity, right? So there's a lot of different reasons out there, but those are just a few.
Mm-hmm. What should we be looking at when we consider working with a wealth advisor? What should we be looking at?
Yeah. So I tell I tell people all the time that I'm interviewing to see if we're a good fit for them. Look at the C's. So the first C is competency of the financial advisor, right? Make sure they have some designation that align to what you need. Make sure that they have experience in the space. Number two is the capabilities of the firm, right? There's a lot of things that Merrill Lynch can do that other firms can't do. There are some things that other firms can't do that Merrill Lynch can't do. Make sure the capabilities of the firm align with where you need help and solutions. The third thing I say is the commitment of the financial advisor, right? Like how committed are they to have your best interest, right? Like you can be super, super smart. You can have all the solutions in the world, but if you're a bad person, you're going to give people the wrong thing, right? You're going to sell them high price things and get them in the wrong thing, whatever it is. So make sure that person is committed to doing right by you. And the last C for me is the fourth C is continuance, right? Where you got to make sure that financial advisor is going to be there for a while, right? Like my clients love the fact that, you know, I have experience. I've been in the space for about 10 years. They know I'm competent and be able to do that, but I'm also 35 years old. So Lord willingly, I'll be working for the next 20, 30 plus years to be able to continue to help guide them and their family, right? It'd be less attractive if I'm a 65-year advisor working with a 65-year-old client, where the client's saying, oh, I'm gonna need you so much, advisor, I'm about to retire tomorrow. And the advisor's like, yeah, I'm about to retire the next day. So it's like, you know, you want to be able to work with someone that's going to continue to be able to work with you, especially as you transition into retirement, where you go from having income to not having income. Because I would say that the role and need for an advisor is even more amplified when you are no longer bringing income, because now you have to navigate and manage the assets that you have. You're not going to bring over a new income going forward to be able to work off of.
Beautiful. What books would you recommend to us if you would say like, hey, this is, you all need to know this. You all need to, what books out there would you say that we need to, like, if there was one or two books that you said like, read this before the end of the year, what would those books be?
Yeah. So my favorite class in college as well as in high school were psychology classes. Like I just love the human mind and how interesting it is. And like as people, like we have a terrible setup to be great investors, right? Like everyone says like, oh yeah, buy low and sell high. And yeah, it's so easy like that. When 2020 happened, March 2020 happened, the pandemic happened, and the stock market was down by 38%, there were no clients that I was calling and saying, hey, buy low, stocks are down 38%. Let's go ahead and throw some money in it while they're trying to figure out if the vaccine's going to come out. They got family members dying. They got all this stuff happening. None of them were like, yeah, just let's do that. They were like, I'm just trying to hang in there, right? I'm trying to stay in there, right? And some of the clients were saying, I should be getting out. I should just get out now. Like things are bad right now. And we all know that like when the stock market down, that's the worst time to get out, right? But when things are thick and things are tough, right? When you look at CNN and CNBC, you know, if it bleeds, it leads. Stock market's down 38%. They're going to tell you why it's going to be down another 20%. They're not going to be selling optimism about when it's going to be able to recover. So for so many reasons, in terms of like how we're naturally wired as people, but also like all the things that we see on CNN and CNBC, which is not information, I'll be clear here, that's entertainment, right? That is entertainment disguised as information, but it's entertainment, right? It's very, very hard to make the right, rational, unbiased decisions with our finances. So two books that I really, really love that talk about behavioral finance and like how to try to avoid behavioral traps so we can become better investors and better and more successful financially. One is Psychology of Money by something Housel. I don't know, it's called Psychology of Money. You'll find it. And the other one is called Behavioral Finance and Wealth Management by Michael Pompian. But they both talk about all the different cognitive and emotional biases we have as people, how to identify them, and how to be able to make more rational and better decisions on now understanding kind of what you're working with so you're a better investor and more successful financially.
Beautiful. Thank you for those recommendations. I'll be sharing them. I want to ask you a question that I love to ask people. And outside of, yes, we're in the path of trying to create generational wealth, but what what would you suggest to people? How do you think we could live more like happier lives, more fulfilling lives? Yes, we want to, like I said, create this wealth, but what do you think could give us like greater peace of mind, greater stability? What would be your tips? Or what works for you?
Yeah. I probably say two things. Number one is recognition that you don't got it that bad, right? Like I feel like so many times we like are on social media or walking in our neighborhoods and seeing all these like, people that are just living their best lives and crushing it and have the nicest cars and nicest homes and doing remodels you can't afford, things of that sort. And we get down on ourselves thinking that we should be more financially successful and be doing more that they're doing or have more that they have. And just taking a step back and just understanding that like so many of us are so blessed financially relative to people in America, and definitely relative to people outside of America, right? And just have grace with yourself, right? To recognize that yeah, things may not be as ideal as you like them, but like you're in a pretty good shape, like all things considered. So that's number one, is having grace and recognizing that regardless of how bad you think you got it, you really probably don't have it that bad when you look at the whole scheme of things and how bad it could be. Two, I think it's very empowering to have, and this goes back to the plan piece, financial plan piece. It's so valuable to have a financial plan and outlook for your finances, right? Like my clients love the fact, and I love the fact because I personally do as well. And also let me back and say, I myself am a financial advisor. Though I'm a financial advisor stuff, I recognize I need someone to call me out on my stuff, right? And check me, because it's easy talking about James's money, your money, James, or someone else's money, because now I'm just a professional and that's just unbiased and unemotional. But when it's Justin Lacey's money, now it becomes emotional. Now it becomes, oh, but this is different, right? So having like, it's so important to have someone else check you and call you out to help you make more informed and less emotional decisions, because we're all emotional about our own money. But yeah, the second piece is when you have that plan, right, and you understand, you have all your goals mapped out, you have how much you need to save and in which different vehicles you're going to save on a yearly or monthly basis, right? And you know that you saving that amount into each of your accounts consistently going forward is going to help you retire in the time that you want to and accomplish your goals. It is just so liberating, right? Because what happens is that when you know that you need to save $2,000 a month and you're doing that every single month in the right vehicles, you know that every single dollar that's left in your bank account is free to consume, is free to enjoy, is free to participate in. You should travel with that. You should donate that to charities. You can help out family members, whatever it is, because you know that you've already paid yourself first, right? Wealthy people save first, spend later. Poor people spend first and save later, right? So when you save first and then you already have that future savings taken down, it's just so liberating that you know that the rest of your money that's in your bank account is meant to be enjoyed and meant for the fulfillment of today's Justin, today James, today person, and that you already taking care of future Justin with your savings that already took place. So I would just put, once again, reemphasize the need and the value of a plan, because it will make you feel a lot more liberated to really enjoy the fruits of your labor and enjoy the cash in your bank account and not feel like you are behind the eight ball still.
Love it. One final question. What would you say you would want your greatest legacy to be? Like people to say, well, Justin Lacey, he came into my life and I was so blessed because XYZ, he really did this, and this for, what would that be? What would that be for you right now?
My legacy, I guess, twofold. One, which is non-financial, like I try to be a light for every single person that I come across, right? Person I pass at the gym, guy that works in the gym, the server that I have at a restaurant, whatever it is. So many people go through so much BS on a daily basis, and I love the fact that like I can potentially just be nice, tell a funny joke, connect with people, have general interest in them, and that could be like the highlight of that day, and have them recognize, hey, like there are some annoying people out there, but there's also some really good ones, and I met one today, right? So that's important for me. And then two, just I'm a firm believer that there's nothing more valuable you can do while you're on this world than to help people. So I want people to know me as someone that's always been willing to help, whether it's help them improve financially with giving them some beneficial financial advice, whether it's help them by connecting with someone that hooks them up with a job or invested in a project. I just want to be someone that people can come to me and get my perspective of, and I can be able to help in some sort of way that will improve their life.
Well, thank you so much, Justin, for your time. I really enjoyed having this conversation with you. Proud of the amazing work that you're doing. And, I look forward to sharing these nuggets with the rest of not just the Black executive men community, but, you know, other bases out there who could benefit from this wisdom and from your commitment. So I just want to thank you again for taking this time to spend time with us today.
No, thank you for having me. And what you're doing is definitely what I try to do every day, right? You're helping people, you're providing resources and content and beneficial perspective to folks. So continue doing what you're doing because that's inspiring. So thank you, James.
Thank you. Have a good day. Yes.
All right, take care. See
All
you.
right. Sure. Bye-bye.